And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live, Season 1, Episode 9 of Lost in Space, the Oasis. And alongside of me is my co-host, Anti-Derivative Jill. Welcome aboard. Great to see you. Hope you had a great weekend.
Yes, I had a wonderful weekend. Thank you for having me tonight. We're going to have a good time talking about this episode.
Oh, yeah, and I got some fun clips to show tonight. We are going to laugh. This episode's got a lot of fun and goofy things start happening in this show tonight. So, that
Very
being
much
said,
so.
yeah, I got some people in the audience tonight. And let's say hello to David Glenn in the house. Captain Finity Time Travel Police is in the house.
Hey, David.
And I see Scotty R37 popped in.
Scotty.
And I just chilled out this past weekend and we watched wrestling. Me and my wife watched wrestling.
Oh, it's good to disconnect and go do something else every
Oh,
once in a
yeah,
while.
definitely. Yeah, I put all this together and I did more shorts and I'm over 240 subscribers, 243.
My, you're growing quickly. Well done.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Slow and steady like the turtle wins the race.
No,
But
not at
yeah,
all. No, it took me months to get to 100 subscribers when I started, I think.
yeah. So this episode is where the series starts to take a funny twist in some aspects, I think. And this episode was aired November 10th, 1965. And it was weird. Last week's episode was my father. It was on my father's birthday. With my father's birthday was November 3rd, 1930. But he was that episode last week reminded me of my dad because of he was born on November 3rd. So that's why
Oh,
when this episode aired, it was on my father's birthday. The previous week's episode, because this one, of course, is the same, is the 10th. And the director, do you have the breakdown or do you want me to?
the director? Well,
Yeah.
so we have Peter Packer. He's a repeat writer, so I'm sure I've already talked about him, so we don't have to mention him again. But the director is Sutton Roley, and he's a very interesting director. He was 43 when he started directing, and he did, of course, all these 60s shows I don't really know, Highway Patrol, Harbor Command, and then he did Wagon Train and Rawhide.
Yes.
And then he also directed a World War II drama called 12 O'Clock High. And
That's a good one.
Combat. I think I'd heard of that one, the 12 O'Clock.
That was a series. I think Combat was a
Yeah.
series, if I recollect.
That sounds right.
And
Yes.
yeah.
I think
And
I've heard
I did.
some of my
Yep.
friends talking about it.
Yeah.
Then
I
he's
went and
also
saw
direct.
Superman too.
Oh, you saw Superman. Okay. That's
Yes,
James
I
Gunn.
did, and I'm not going to talk about it now. We will go. That will be at the end of the show, maybe a little bit.
Okay. I can talk about it too. I've seen it. I don't know if you want to talk spoilers or non-spoilery. So just let me know.
We can do that at the end of the show. We can do that
Right.
before
So-
we wrap things up for the night, or
So
we can
in
just talk
total,
about it after we. Yeah,
he
and
ends
go
up
ahead, continue.
he ends up directing 4 Lost in Space episodes and 3 for Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea for Irwin Allen. And so that's the director. And when you say rundown, do you mean you want me to read the narration?
Yeah, if you'd like. If not, you can read that. Go ahead, go for it. Open it. Let's do it.
Last week, as you recall, a blistering wave of heat had settled over our space family's campsite, along with a strange, unearthly silence.
Yeah, and I have some excellent media assets for this episode, and I kind of have them in order. There are a lot, so you will have to be somewhat patient. Okay.
Oh, that's
Now,
totally fine.
last opening narration, Dawn and Judy. Dawn's working on the water storage
Conversion
gathering.
unit.
unit, water conversion unit, and of course, with the extreme weather on this planet, their water supply it's been like the extreme heat has been absorbing and evaporating the water, so they've been on strict rations. And of course, they're hearing noises and rocks, you know, because the planet's very unstable, and it's like 140 degrees. She was saying they were saying it's 140 degrees out. I can't imagine that.
How are they even alive? That's
Exactly. 140 degrees.
outrageous. They'd be baked. That's I wish they would have said 110 because that would be like Las Vegas.
Yeah, and Dr. Smith would say,
Oh, the pain. The pain.
and as the rocks are moving along down here, Dawn hears something, of course. Judy's concerned.
That's a quake.
A quake. And Penny's setting this table, and Will is helping him by pulling chairs out. You see that? I told you. I made sure I captured it.
He's just moving chairs. It's
He
really
was.
nothing.
He's
doing
still
nothing.
helping.
He's just fidgeting with the chair. He's not. He was. That's why Maureen has him go get Don and Judy. Well, she starts to tell him to do that until she realizes it's too dangerous. But no, he didn't. He moved a chair. Penny was setting the table. Sorry.
Anyways, and then they get hit with the earthquake as this is happening, and John's getting tossed. Robot. And John is like, "Where's Don and Judy?" And Maureen's like, "There comes the rocks." And this isn't good. And
Yeah,
I have something.
yeah.
And that's what happens to Don.
Yeah, only those two other large rocks stop it from just completely crushing him. Lucky they
Oh,
were
yeah.
there. Uh-oh. Did you go mute? Oh. No, then we have the theme song right away. It's pretty quick.
We're getting into it. This is coming down, and the rock's on him, and then we go into the opening credits right away. It's a fast intro, this one. This is a fast-paced episode. The pacing in this episode is really good. And Mata Kristen and Bill Mooney and the great Angela Cartwright and special guest Jonathan Harris, created and produced by Irwin Allen. The Oasis. And we pick up where they left off, and they're this was directed, as we know, by Sutton Roley, written by Peter Packer. And they're running out after Don is legs caught in the rock, and the very fact that he's still got a leg after that. And anytime you want to interject.
Well, Don's passed out, and John is helping him, and I guess he doesn't stay passed out for too long, but his foot's stuck in the rock, and John uses the power of simple machines, specifically the lever, to free Don. And he seems to be really struggling with it, although Maureen doesn't try to come and help. But fortunately,
nope.
John is just strong enough to pull it off.
Well, why wouldn't they go get the robot?
That's a great point. Why wouldn't they go get the robot?
They get the robot at this point. Good question. Yeah. Well, we know what the robots and Dr. Smith are up to anyways. We'll get to that soon.
Yeah. The robot is otherwise busy.
Yes, let's see what's going on in the chat. They can leave the planet. They can't leave the planet yet. That spaceship's still busted. Captain
Yeah,
Infinity Time, please. They
they
don't have
can't
enough
leave
deuteronium
because
yet.
they don't have enough fuel.
No deuteronium yet. So, as John struggles to get the boulder off that leverage, and you see him grunting and finally Don Smith is standing up there with his smirk, and he goes, "Oh, can I help?" And John's got a line for him. I'll give him that line. This is
Can
what
I help? Yeah. Get his boot.
you see. He's such a jerk. He's like, fix the boot up and just drops it.
Yeah, he asks if any help is needed, but really he's not really interested in thankless chores. But there's something really weird about this. He got a fan mail. Mark Goddard got fan mail about this scene. And it doesn't say who sent it, but it said, "I just watched the segment where a terrible boulder came crashing down on your foot. The way you acted the pain was just wonderful. It was magnificent. I felt it. It was so real. If you would send me a picture of your foot, I would so much appreciate."
Yeah, there's some weird fans out there.
It's weirder.
Major West. I know.
Weirder.
He never told me that story. That's one of the few stories that he never told me the foot story. He's told me, Mark used to tell me he told me some good stories over the years, but he never told me the foot story.
Well,
His favorite story is when he's talking about himself at the Nantasket, at the old Nantasket Paragon Park drinking a beer. And he's sitting there at the bar drinking, and a drunk guy comes up and sits next to him, and he's drinking. And he's like, "You look like that guy on Lost in Space, my God!" And he goes, "No kidding, you think?" And he starts joking with him, messing with him. And I'll tell you the rest of that story. I got it actually. I think I got a video of that exact speech, that story. I'm gonna play it some night for us.
Oh, that would be
It's
so
funny.
cool.
Oh, I
But this
will.
is
I'm gonna.
just
I
weird.
can dig it up. I can
This
dig
is
it up.
just weird because the fan continues. If you cannot send me a picture of your foot, could you possibly have a plaster cast made of your foot? I will pay the postage. And if you cannot send a plaster cast, could you send me the measurements of your feet?
I'm gonna have to ask someone. I'm gonna have to ask Matt or us Bill that one about the foot. I'm gonna have to ask them next time.
Apparently, he sent him a picture, not a plaster.
Oh my God! Yeah, Mark he's good like that. Okay, so we're back to they're going in with John, and they kind of like leave Smith out. Like they're starting to like really, he's annoying the shit out of them right now. So they're kind of leaving him out of, like not treating him too nicely. And then that sun's beating down on them. And I love this picture right here. I know they use this as a stock one, but this is beautiful. This particular one, Jill, right? The set.
Yeah, the
I
matte
love
painting.
this one.
Gorgeous.
I love this. Yeah. I'm going to add color to this. Take one of I have a software. I'm going to put some color to this sometime and just give it a little tone. But this is like the sun's beating down on them. And I have this for you. I know you thought you saw the last of the journal. I think this is the last of the journal.
I'm always thinking it's the last one.
Yes, because I specifically did this one because I know you like the journal, and I wanted to make sure you get to see them.
Great. They're great storytelling devices.
Yes, they are. It is here. I know I uploaded it. Don't do this to me. Here we go.
The eccentric orbit of this hostile planet has now confirmed our fears that its sun would soon be a pitiless enemy. The land shrivels under its blinding heat, and the conservation of water has become our gravest problem.
And he now they're discussing about they're playing a game together, and I got this
Monopoly.
Not in a Monopoly. So it looks like some kind of Pachisi space game. Pachisi sign, some kind of space Pachisi game. And Will is getting really mad because they're helping Penny.
Yeah, John gives her a suggestion, but Penny said, "I already knew that." So we'll never know whether or not she already knew that or not, because he helped her. And so Will's being a little more aggressive because he's so thirsty and hot.
Yeah, this is what Will says.
Bunch of cheaters. Oh, now come on, now stop this bickering.
Yeah, and Maureen is extra compassionate in this episode, so of course with their children, but it gets extended beyond them later this episode. But of course she wants them to get their rations sooner so they can cool down because they're obviously irritated.
Well, look at how much water they do get when they do get it.
Less than a shot glass.
Yeah. And they're like, don't gulp. They're always telling them not to gulp. They don't get much water. Well, so there they go.
I was waiting for one of them to be sarcastic and say, well, pretty easy not to gulp when there's only a sip in here.
You see the smirk on Penny's face? You can see the smirk on her face because Will's looking down. And now they're checking the water now, the evaporation levels. You can jump in anytime. I got some funny stuff coming up.
Okay, it looks like there's a component to the water conversion unit that's irreparable. In fact, just one such item of it remains. So now they have to decrease their water rations even further because there's just one more device thing that goes in there that is lasting. So Don says, at the rate of flow, one fluid minimum every 20 seconds, not enough to moisten a toothbrush. I wouldn't plan on putting a swimming pool up this season.
Yep.
And things are so bad, they're down to only 24 gallons left to consume, even if they factor out evaporation. If they don't reduce rations, they have only 2 weeks of water left, but it gets worse.
Yes, it's going to get worse because they're checking the tank.
Yeah, they're checking the tank, and they find they don't have 24 gallons left. They have only 2.
And then all of a sudden, they look in there, the tank. And what do they see?
Here, rather.
And that's just the beginning.
Oh, yes, this goes well beyond selfishness. This is straight up stupidity here.
Oh.
He's singing from the opera, The Barber of Seville.
And John says this.
I would have kicked you clear into orbit for taking a shower at a time like this. I couldn't wait another day. I was losing precious body fluid.
It always reminds me of if you ever watched Survivor, that reality TV show. Oh no, you bathed in our drinking water, and so it's kind of or you did the laundry or something.
Captain Infinity Time Travel Police says, "Live hard, die hard." And David Glenn says, "Play hard, fair enough. Nobody gets hurt." Scotty says, "Lost on a planet." Lost Planet.
It was Tony Wilson's idea to have the robot sing along.
I think it was great. I love that. Thought that was the cutest thing when I was a kid watching that, the robot singing. Didn't you think that's a riot? I think it's great.
And apparently people aren't just hot in the episode as the characters, but also the actors get hot because they're under really hot lamps. So
Yep.
Jonathan Harris getting to be in the shower, he gets to cool off.
Yeah, definitely so. And they're really annoyed with him. And he's like, Don's like, I don't care if your hair falls out, because he can't. He goes, I don't even hardly enough to rinse my hair. And Don goes, I don't care if it falls out. And I got something else for this too. Wait.
Where the robot continues to sing, even though there's no water.
Yeah. I thought I have that. Here we go.
I hope it falls out in bunches.
That remark is uncalled for, Major.
Don't you realize what you've done? You've washed your grubby hide in what is...
Oh, shut up.
That does not compute.
I kind of mixed two together for that one because I felt that was appropriate to put them together. And so then Smith does one last thing. He ducks down and hides. And there we are, caught up. And they're talking about finding a new source of water. Anytime, Jill, you'd like to intercede?
Yeah, Will says there might be some in the caves, but John says that there was none. It's bone dry. But he's got a chart about a stream that runs through the bottomland. And so if they can follow the course of that, then they might be able to find some underground water. And so they're gonna go on an expedition to find some life-saving water, because thanks to Dr. Smith, they're all about to die.
And I have to say hi to Stone Cold Loki, and I got a video for Loki.
Hello.
Right here. This one's for Loki.
Listen, my pusillanimous puppet. I have no intention of chasing off after that family of lunatics.
And this one.
The tree had it coming.
Yes, that tree definitely had it coming. So, as we move forward, they're discussing about finding the water, as you were just saying, Jill.
Yes, and of course by we, he means everyone, John. So Smith cannot just sit around and wait for everyone else to do the work this time.
And he's like, yep, this is where he gets up, and he's like, plops back down. He goes, you'll be joining us with bucket in hand. And here they go, off to getting the water. And Smith just becomes exhausted. And I have a clip for that for y'all.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you do? Dr. Smith is being overly dramatic, even though everyone else feels as poorly as he does.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Right here. You'll like this one.
Do you know what it means when your joints creak and your ribs grind against the sternum?
No, what does it mean, Dr. Smith?
Imminent and total dehydration, that's all.
I like Will's response. I guess you're a little too old for this kind of a hike. and Dr. Smith says, I'm not old. It's just a simple case of deep deprivation.
Good evening, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hello, Gorilla. Glad you got your game working.
And Smith is sitting down there, and of course, she agrees to give him his water ration. She asks if he can have his water ration early, and John says, "Go ahead." And well, first to that, Will goes, "Well, maybe you're just too old for this," and Smith goes, "I'm not that old." And so, and this is where she asks him to give him his water ration, and of course, Smith, being who he is, he gets his drink, and this is what he.
Another. Dr. Smith.
Yeah, and not only that, but he gets out of doing any more work. He gets back
Always,
to the ship.
always gets out of
Even
the work.
even Debbie is pulling her own weight, but Dr. Smith.
Yeah. Nope. And he asks for another, and she shames him. And he goes, John tells him, try to make it back on your own. And Smith is like scared. And they move down to the Oasis. This area is set. We see a lot. You notice that, right? We see it. We saw it last week. Vader's from the Fifth Dimension. They use the set over and over again. Evening Gorilla. And they look down there and they see the little oasis of water. And John heads down to test the water. And unfortunately, the water is not good. And Maureen looks down and sees this. And they find this beautiful looking fruit that could be the savior to them all. And
yeah, they all know they need to test it first, except Debbie didn't get the memo.
Nope, Debbie does not get the memo. And it looks like, Dawn says it looks like sherbet. I think, what was the line? Because I can't see the lines on my side. What he would have, he said, they were all like excited, but of course they couldn't, nobody can eat it until it's properly tested. So John's going to go grab some more. And this is where Debbie helps herself to a little treat. And now they're testing it. You can jump in anytime here if you like, John's, because I know you like the science aspect.
I do. Well, okay, so of course they do have to test the fruit to determine whether they can eat it or not. And so back at the Jupiter 2, they test it, but it's going to take 12 to 36 hours to determine whether or not the fruit is edible. Although, since it was in and around that water, you would think that there was something wrong with it. It would just seem a foregone conclusion.
But anything growing on that planet was like really big. You know, you had all, the growth of things on that planet were all manifested anyways because of the weird soil and the living organisms in the soil that caused those pea pods to grow.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And that plays a factor here in with this fruit and what it does to you.
Exactly. Okay. So they're moving right along.
Maureen, Judy actually has a good line in this episode, which I like. Maureen says, "Oh, we forgot about Dr. Smith." And Judy said, "Yes, isn't it a relief?" What do you mean, Judy? To be able to forget about him.
Yeah. And then Maureen goes, I better check on him to see if he's okay. And of course he's not there. And
Yeah, that's because he's outside eating the fruit.
yeah, we're gonna get to that right.
And so it makes sense to me that Debbie would start eating the fruit because she's a chimp, like a space chimp. But Dr. Smith just like, okay, they left this fruit here that I have no idea about. I'm just gonna start eating it, and that is not logical.
Here we go.
Dr. Smith! Dr. Smith, don't eat it! Dr.
This episode, Dr. Smith is kind of like a toddler.
Oh, definitely so. And he's out there noshing away, and she comes up, and this happens.
How many of these have you eaten?
It was only my second, and I must say it's delicious, a very exotic flavor. Now, you needn't worry. There's plenty for everyone. Just don't worry.
And he doesn't listen, and she tries to explain to him, and she goes, it hasn't been tested. And she goes, wait.
Did you say poison?
What's going on now?
He's been eating this fruit.
Don't you ever pay attention to rules?
Well, in all fairness, he really wasn't around when they brought it back, so he didn't know. But
he didn't know, but he knows the rules, and everybody
he's
knows
a doctor,
and he's a doctor.
Yeah,
He
and
knows the rules that you got to test everything before you think about consuming it.
yeah, and then Smith gets paranoid. They were trying to warn him.
But it does make sense that he starts to get hypochondriac about it. So, but then he also blames John for trying to kill him.
This is it right here. And
left it there deliberately. You wanted me to eat it?
Why, that's ridiculous, Smith. We just found that fruit. If you hadn't left us, you'd have known that.
yeah, so he definitely thinks that they're out to get him now, but that's him playing the victim.
He assumes that just because the fruit can be poisonous, that he's decided it is poisonous, and everyone actually just wanted to get rid of him since they slammed the door in his face earlier.
Oh.
I know how you all feel about me. Another mouth to feed, another thirst to quench. Oh, yes, let's get rid of him. This is our chance. That's the way your evil minds worked, wasn't it? No! It's begun!
He's so hysterical.
He gets so emotional. We got some more people in. I'd like to welcome in Pleasant Valley Picker, California. Smith often Canada. Sorry, my friend. Smith often played the victim. Yes, he definitely did. Pleasant Valley. Good to see you tonight, and thanks you for coming in. Appreciate it. David Glenn says 140 degrees and no one is sweating.
Yeah, they made a mistake there. They make quite a few science mistakes in this episode that I gloss over.
Definitely so. And
also, someone said that the water could be distilled earlier, but they did explain that away in the dialogue when John says you'd need a distilling plant as big as a refinery to get anything drinkable out of that water.
Yeah, and he's a geologist and would know more about that than probably, And now it's trying to churn. And John goes, let us help you. And he goes, no. And now he's trying to make them all feel guilty. And Maureen's like, we got to do something. And then they get Smith is in his room. Let me see. I think I got something here for this. No, I don't have. I didn't film any of this, but if you'd like to, this is when he's laying in his room. Oh wait,
You find it?
nope. I'm trying to see if I have that one. You can explain.
He's
what's
just,
going
well,
on here.
basically, Dr. Smith is being an immature jerk in this episode, and he's definitely staring in the mirror to see if, but he also is afraid of that the fruit poisoned him. So he's staring in the mirror to see if any symptoms are going to start to appear. And then he says, "Where were you, doctor? Where was your mind? Oh, how could I let them do this to me? So much to live for, so much. And now. But I won't die alone. Oh no. They'll pay for this with their lives." So, yeah. So he's kind of back to the potential murder stage.
Yeah, he goes in and back and forth.
Yeah, it goes back and forth to where he's not so murderous and now he's murderous again. They're yo-yoing with that.
And then they're all sitting around. And Maureen comes out and says he's not there. He's not in his cabin. So they all rush off, of course, to look for him.
He's both dumb and paranoid in this episode.
Yep. And they always Will and Penny are all looking, and then
The whole family is so compassionate towards him. Nonetheless,
I know, and he's tried to kill him how many times? And get Will's brain taken last week.
Right?
Ooh, Pleasant Valley Picker, Gorilla Random Thoughts. You should get Smith to help you with your golf course. Pardon me, this is the wrong kind of stream for that, Miss Sparkles. Good evening. Thank you for coming in. So they're still out looking, and the kids are saying we better get back to mom and dad, and they all head back to camp, and they're worried about Smith and everything, about where he could be and what could happen, And
They already wasted precious energy looking for him, and because they value life more than he does. But they decide they'll have a better chance of finding him in the morning, and they find out that he took some supplies with him. And then they have a little discussion about it. Judy's worried about if he's really poisoned.
Yep.
And Maureen says he knew better than to eat it without testing it first. Judy makes an excuse for him, saying we left it around, and Dawn says that Judy, you wouldn't have done that. But she says, I don't know, perhaps if I felt the way Dr. Smith did, dehydrated and everything, I might have.
But they've been John goes, we've been trained,
Yes.
So they've been trained, and John goes, Dr. Smith is a doctor. He should know better more than anybody, he was saying.
Yeah, and all this dialogue, all this compassion that this family has for Dr. Smith was all put in by Tony Wilson to give the Robinsons some heart that Smith could learn from if he cared to listen.
Yeah, and this is where they're out there standing there together, and Maureen says this. You very rarely hear them say something like this. This is...
I never thought I'd be saying this. But you know, Mother, I miss him.
I really miss him.
Yeah.
I also like what Maureen says. She says that I read somewhere once that people like Dr. Smith are called injustice collectors.
Just collectors. Yep.
Most of them are really nice when they're not collecting. We'll find him.
Hey, let's welcome in DJ Play Nice. Welcome in. Great to see you. And
Hey,
the
DJ, play nice.
great Gavin Blackburn is in the house. And great to see
Hello.
you. And you know what we got for Gavin.
Hello, Gavin.
About him? Whom are we discussing?
Mr. Kima, you dunce! The Golden Man!
You must be mistaken, sir. The gentleman and I have never met. Here we go!
But it's not just Maureen and Judy that are compassionate. Will seems to be seeing Dr. Smith as a friend, even though he's like, I know he did some bad things, but I wouldn't mind if he came back and tried to do something bad again, just as long as he came back.
Yeah, and this is right here, the robots.
Dr. Smith wants out. Dr. Smith is most anxious to return to Earth.
And he goes, that was just a reel that Dr. Smith forgot to erase. And this is with and they're thinking, and Maureen says here, I miss him being out here telling us we're all incompetent and barking out orders. And DJ Play Nice says, anti-derivative Jill. And they're
PvP
smiling.
mentions, that Will always had a blind spot to Smith, and that's because Will wants to see the good in everybody.
Everybody. That's what makes him so unique. And they're reminiscing, they're talking about that. And now Penny goes over to Debbie and gives her doll.
Debbie has a doll. That's cute.
That was so cute. And of course, Penny's sad and looking up, hoping Dr. Smith is okay. And of course, he's here. And we got some fun stuff.
Well, okay, but Penny was also wishing
ahead.
for rain. She was also wishing
Yeah.
for rain, but not until we find Dr. Smith, because of course she does care about him too.
Okay, here we go.
Only theirs will be more lingering than mine.
And he's up there making his memoirs.
Had he survived, would have transfigured the universe. Signed, Zachary Smith.
The work for hauling the extra sand for this scene was done just for this episode.
Yes, and he also says, go ahead. You finish first.
They also use kind of like an old-fashioned looking tape recorder. They kind of don't make it look like it's in the future.
Yeah, that was cool. The reel-to-reel one. That was kind of neat.
Reel-to-reel tape recorder.
And he says this.
But this you must know and judge. I have plotted their end as they plotted mine.
And he, of course, seals it up and buries it in the ground and marks a flag there, of course, and has his initials on it.
What on earth was he talking about transfiguring the universe with?
his mind, Smith's delusional mind. We got more comments.
I think the fruit was making him loopy.
Still convinced that dude with the plastic head is altogether human. Well, Robot B9 had a human in it. Captain Finity Time Police, and then it was the great Bob May and the great Dick Tufeld did the voice of the robot and the narration for this series. And Captain Finity Time Travel Police, you could well be right, from Gavin Blackburn. So Smith now says his monologue and heads off. And they're all getting ready to go out and look for him again. And if you need to jump in and say anything at any time, Jill, just hop on.
Oh, sure. Well, what Dr. Smith has done in his anger towards the family is taking their last fuel cell for their water conversion. So now they can't even get the pittance of water that they were collecting before. And so they've got to go out and look for it.
But Judy's smiling. I can't understand that. And she's all like,
no, that doesn't make sense.
And here he goes.
He's having too much fun on the set and nobody noticed.
And this is where he says, if we don't get that back, we'll have no water. Literally no water. They'll have nothing.
I think this might be a good time to start praying for rain.
Yep.
David Glenn has got to go to get to the store before it closes.
That's okay, David. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it very much, and you have a good night. Thank you very much.
Good night, David.
So Dr. Smith is there, like, crawling, dropping his little feign act, and of course he's out like a light. And in the morning, they're all up searching for him.
He actually might be exhausted because he's not putting on a show for anybody here. He's just collapsing in the middle of the desert.
And they're still looking for Will, and this is where Major West goes, I'm not going to be. He's like almost happy that he might not be alive when he was saying to Will.
If he Will says, but he may be dead. And if he is, don't be surprised if I give out 3 loud cheers, Will. Yep. And Will says, that's cruel. But what do you call stealing our one good fuel cell? An act of brotherly love? I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, and
she's calling back to the ship now and asking Maureen to check the sample from the fruit. And she goes and listens to John. And then she checks it, and he asks if it's clumping. And obviously, it's not starting to clump yet. And she goes back and tells him no clumping. So that's still good. But if it starts to clump, then there's going to be a problem, John said. Gavin Blackburn says, Don, the voice of reason. He's always the voice of reason. If Don had his way, Dr. Smith wouldn't have made it. How does it go? Wouldn't make it. It wouldn't have made it past the second episode, I don't think. So she basically tells him that it's not clumping, and he says, keep an eye on it. And she's looking again. And if you want to interject here, Jill, this time around.
Oh, sure. Unfortunately, the fruit. Well, no, actually, I'm on the next scene already. Basically, Maureen's got it handled, studying the bacterial growth of the fruit. So we know something's up with it, and so we just have to continue on and see the actual effects that we actually have. And the first thing we see is that Debbie is huge now, and so she didn't get poisoned, but she grew immensely. And it makes you, apparently, this fruit will make you giant if you eat it.
And where have you
Just like,
seen this kind of looking character in the Planet of the 2001: A Space Odyssey? Kind of almost the way the faces were.
yes, because obviously that Debbie's no longer an actual chimpanzee. Since she's giant, they have an actual person inside a suit here.
Yes.
And so the person inside the suit was Janos Prohaska, and I hope I got the name right because he's a very important person. He's made a whole career out of being in monster suits and ape suits. And so, like you said, I wouldn't. He's been in lots of stuff like The Outer Limits. He was Darwin the monkey in The Six Finger. He was a white ape in Fatal Cargo and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Bobo the gorilla in an episode of Land of the Giants. Olga the dancing bear in The Munsters. And for Gilligan's Island, he appeared as an ape 3 times.
Oh yeah. And they see Debbie.
Wait,
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait a second. I wasn't finished. I'll skip a few of them, but the one I can't skip is that he was also several monsters in Star Trek. One being from my favorite episode. He was the Horta in Devil in the Dark, the Mugatu in A Private Little War, and Yarnek in The Savage Curtain. And of course, he did more stuff, but I guess I'll skip that for now.
I have Pleasant Valley Picker, California says I have a love-hate relationship. Dr. Smith. He's very annoying, but became a key part of the series. Thank you. Okay. Talk about being typecast. Gavin Blackburn says. So moving along, they're looking out at Debbie, seeing, well, she doesn't seem aggressive. She seems playful. She doesn't realize, I don't think she realizes she's that big.
And neither does Dr. Smith.
Yeah. And here we go, and here's his flag as they're out looking for, they're searching for him. And they come across the flag. And it's like thinking maybe that he hid the fuel cell there that they needed. And the fuel cell, they dug for it, looking for the fuel cell, and they uncovered the reel-to-reel, his recording. So they're figuring that he can't be far. And this is when he wakes up finally. And I think I got something fun for this.
I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive.
He's happy the fruit did not kill him. He does not yet know he's a giant.
Scotty, I'm going to ask you nicely once. Don't come in here and do this. You don't like the show. You said you don't like it. So you said you weren't going to do this. So have a good night, pal. Sorry. We're moving along. Okay, so Dr. Smith is alive, and they're still searching for him. And
Dr. Zachary Smith.
So the biggest question I'm sure everybody is asking is how did his clothing grow along with him?
That is a good scientific question. And Question: do you think Jonathan Harrison as Smith made a series get 3 seasons? Pleasant Valley Picker, Canada had made the series get 3 seasons. I think that Pleasant Valley, I think that he kept his job for 3 seasons because being the nefarious role he knew, and quote unquote, he was not going to survive and he would be out of work again. So he started slipping in his comedy, and Irwin Allen pulled him in one time and says, I know what you're doing. Keep doing it. So it eventually drifted off into the campiness in the season 2 and, of course, season 3. But there are good episodes in all 3 seasons. There are really good episodes in all 3 seasons. So, yeah, he definitely made it funny. He brought that physical comedy too. So we know he's standing there. When they filmed this was pretty amazing to make him look that big. You know.
Sutton Roley used lots of camera tricks to create the illusion.
Yeah.
They used split screen effects for one to use, and then he also used forced perspective. And he also placed Harris on a camera crane and then lifted him high above the other actors to make him look giant. And then he would shoot over the giant's shoulder, who was in the foreground, to look at the other cast members, who were probably 20 feet away.
Yeah. That was neat. I like the way they filmed this. It's pretty neat. And he's still standing there.
Still not aware until Will helps him. Will talks to him and convinces him he's a giant. And so Dr. Smith goes into full tantrum and starts stomping.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. I got some of that. And this is where they finally come up upon him. Right there. Oops, wrong one. I think I have something for this. This is where he goes, right here. They approach him. And this is where he's like,
Get out! Get out! Get out!
I mean, and this is where Will suggests that he wants to bring him, help him and bring him something to eat. And he goes, let me bring him a sandwich. And this is what Don says.
Want something to eat?
He's more likely to eat you than that sandwich.
Dr. Smith and I are friends.
Anyways. They're moving along. And Maureen contacts John and tells him about you can jump in anytime, Jill.
I wanted to say something about what Sutton Roley said about working with Jonathan.
Yeah.
Jonathan Harris was wonderful. He would do anything you asked. You just had to restrain him a little. If you let Jonathan go, he would go absolutely ape. It's better to have an actor like that rather than one you have to keep pumping up all the time. And so, oh no, I think I'm needed by my family, so I have to step away for a moment.
Yeah, no worries. I got this. Yeah. Anyways, so they contact Jupiter 2 and they inform Maureen informs him that Debbie's big and he's not, but playful. not as aggressive as Smith. It's affected Smith a different way. Well, Smith's a mean person, so I'm assuming that the effects of the fruit, along with his big size, altered his already nasty attitude and made him more nasty, as one would say.
Yeah, basically by mentioning the pituitary gland, they're making a hint at puberty, like he's having some kind of weird puberty.
Yeah, it's like, like he's
Dr. Zachary Smith.
Also, they do a lot of sneezing, both Smith and Debbie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he goes like this.
Get out! No! Shoot!
Yeah. And he gets sneezed on, and he's got the laser on him. And Will's like, "You can't shoot him." And this is when he goes over and brings him the sandwich. I kind of got ahead, but and he goes, "You're standing there. You could pick up trees. You're as tall as a tree." And he goes, "You mean these bushes?" And then Smith, he brought him the sandwich.
I brought you something to eat. A sandwich.
Sandwich? That's birdseed. What are you doing standing down
there? And then he says this.
Come up out of there!
Listen, Dr. Smith, you know that fruit you ate?
You thought it would kill me, didn't you?
No, sir.
So that he does his foot stomp, and Jill, you're away. And this is where he stomps his feet, and we're caught up there. And he continues to try to talk and be nice to Smith. And Smith continues to be angry, and he thinks he's some kind of freak now because of the fruit. And
yeah, he thinks he's going to be turned.
Tell me it isn't true. Tell me it isn't true.
Yeah, so he keeps trying to convince him.
Oh, and there you go. There you see it right there, the split screen effect. If you can tell, it's that big branch
right down the middle. Yep, that splits it right down the middle right there. The way they did that, that's really neat. You can't tell Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I specifically learned this one from Pop Culture Curator. So rest in peace, fellow friend. He's the one who told me about this branch here causing the split screen. They don't really explain it too well in the book, but he did.
Yeah, Pleasant Valley Pick a Canada says, laugh out loud, Will's sandwich is so tiny it wouldn't be a bite. Yeah, that's about right. That'd be like him chucking a peanut up in his mouth, and eating it like that. And Pleasant Valley Pick a Canada says again, nice camera work. Thank you very much. I mean, thank for the guy who did that. You really did well. Gavin Blackburn says the special effects are very well done in this episode. Season 1, I think for their time, this is like I said, this set the table for everything else that we have today. This was the beginning. The Buck Rogers and all that, and this all led into what we have today. So it all plays a role into our science fiction, and this show was one of Irwin Allen's beginnings and it led into the Star Treks and all the other things. And they still keeping their eye on Smith to make sure that he doesn't hurt Will. And now they're coming forward, and Smith is all emotional and everything. Jill, anytime you'd like to add anything on this particular scene here?
Not really. You said it all basically when he said that he feels like a freak. They're basically he's upset that they're gonna send him when they get back to Earth to a circus, and he's gonna be in a sideshow, and everybody's gonna laugh at him.
Like this.
A freak. A laughingstock. An acromegalous monster.
That was for later on, but I like that line. And okay, and then he does this. My bad. So he's basically all sad and everything, and they're trying to talk him into, possibly coming back, and they bring up the fuel cell, which totally sets him off. That's the only reason why you're here, So he starts getting really angry and tells them to go away. Get away, go away. And John says, we won't survive without it. So they're moving right along, and Smith again sneezes and blows them all away. And of course they're blown, and they all take off. And Smith is all sad and lamenting still about how horribly, everything is happening to him. And then they're back at the ship talking. And they want to try to figure a way to help him. And Jill, do you have anything to add here?
Basically, this is all dialogue that I have here concerning how the fruit has an effect on your pituitary gland, and that's what makes him grow and also act like a giant toddler. Basically, he's actually acting like a teenager. And there's actually a Animaniacs short that it's a cartoon from the 1990s where there was a girl who anytime she would get mad, she was a teenager, she would turn into a giant monster. And so that's basically what's happened to Dr. Smith.
Yeah, in Pleasant Valley, Canada says, remember TV was taking away the audience from Hollywood films, and a lot of talented special effects guys went to TV. That's very true, Pleasant Valley. Very true. And Gavin Blackbird says, nice matte painting of the ship. I love those matte paintings, Gavin. And if there's any photos or pictures you ever want, let me know, and I will be more than happy to share them with you. I have a full gallery. Really nice photos. And Captain Infinity Time Travel Police says it's assumed that CGI was made by ILM. Well, I think Lucas started his own special effects company. Stanley Kubrick had his own. So Lucas started his own. Yes, but CGI, I do believe, evolved over the years from the original special effects over the years. Anyway, a lot of computer technology involved in making movies nowadays. So they're contemplating about, like you was talking about the pituitary gland and the growth and how they might be able to, how to help him. And Maureen wants to go and talk to them and help them. Try to help Dr. Smith and talk to him. And they said, and John seems all about it. You notice that, Jill? He's like, at that smile. He says that he wants to, they're all going to go and let her talk to him.
Yeah, this is pretty great. This is the chance for Maureen to shine. Before we continue with this scene, I want to put an aside that doesn't really fit too much in the episode, except for that this is what the director, Roley, said about the actors. Angela Cartwright was a lovely girl and a very good actress. Bill Mumy was a terrific, exceptionally talented kid. Mark Goddard and Marta Christian were okay. I found Guy Williams and June Lockhart very pretentious. They were always holding hands and playing lovey-dovey. It got to be throw-up time. When the kids were in
No.
peril, Guy and June raced for each other first, and I would say, forget that. Let's be concerned with the kids for a moment. I've never heard any director say something like that, at least not yet, about them.
Yeah. I never saw it that way. I just thought they were a close family.
I did too. So that's an interesting perspective from the director that yeah, I don't think I agree with it either, but I wasn't there.
So, and they're like bringing in Maureen now, and
yeah, and Smith is still crying.
And this is, and she says,
Dr. Smith, may I join you?
Also, I like when he calls himself an acromegalous monster.
Yeah, right.
A freak. A laughing stock. An acromegalous monster.
Yes. And she gets blown over. And she continues to convince him that they're going to try to help him if she'll come back with him. And that they need the fuel cell too.
Okay, wait a minute.
And she also convinces him, like, you helped us, like you're a hero by testing, eating the fruit and putting yourself in harm's way. She helped to feed his ego to get him to come back with her.
That's it. And so Maureen kind of reprograms him. This is kind of like her Captain Kirk moment. And you know how Captain Kirk would trick the computers? This is Maureen tricking Dr. Smith, lying to him, telling him that he's brave. But maybe it's not all lies, because Maureen is really compassionate. So maybe some part of her even believes it.
And that finally convinces him to give it a shot, to trust her.
Even to give back the fuel cell.
Yeah, and the fuel cell. And he, of course, sneezes on her again. And she's like, oh, Dr. Smith. And here we go.
Come on.
Oops, nope. And they get him to come back to the ship, and the heat's still beating down that night. I'm just trying to get caught up down in here. Okay. Everything. Okay. I'm set here. So they're that evening, it's clouding up in the sky finally a bit, and they're over at the water. Jill, help me out here
unit. The conversion
unit. Water conversion unit. And they're over there watching, hoping for that the fuel cell, now it's starting to produce water. And they're seeing it. Will sees it, and then he goes over to tell Smith that it's producing so many liters.
Well, I wish it's producing a pint a day.
A pint a day, excuse me. A pint a day. And then Smith goes, oh, a pint a day. And then he asks Will to cover his feet. Look at how big they made his feet. That was pretty cool how they did that.
He might be putting together that he's larger now and he's going to need more water.
Yeah. And all of a sudden,
Keep coming!
It's gonna rain!
I'm coming, baby! And bucket full! Let's go!
and the rain starts coming down. And then the rain seems to have an effect on him and Debbie, because they start shrink back to normal size.
Very funny, because usually when you add water, you make something grow. But no, just add water and you shrink.
I'm just making sure I have nothing up here towards the end. Okay, I got them all. It's all down here, what I need to finish it. And of course, he's soaked, and he picks up Debbie and her doll, and they head back to the ship. And here we go.
Had to get that
Here
rain.
you are dancing like savages while I'm being drenched.
Well, you know what? This time Smith wasn't so bad because he had Debbie with him. He didn't just leave Debbie out there. So that was nice.
Yeah,
But
he says,
However, as soon as one of you good people gets me a cup of hot soup and something dried to wear, I might offer up a small prayer of thanks.
and I like it that there's a little bit of laughing, and everything. They added that, and it lightened him up, and they all got, they were getting along. You know what I mean?
yes.
Here you are dancing like...
Oops. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't
That's
mean
okay.
to.
That's okay. That's okay. No, I did have a little to say about the rain. The rain
Yep, go ahead.
was pouring down from a sprinkler system that they mounted above the set. And it was apparently very traumatic for Debbie. So that's probably why Dr. Smith is uncharacteristically kind and bringing her back in the ship, is because the actress herself needed to be dry. And so William E. Anchors was interviewing Jonathan Harris, who said, Debbie the monkey, she terrified me. She terrified me and she loved me. That was a serious problem, I have to tell you. You know, a chimp is a very dangerous animal. You know the scene where Debbie is playing in the sand with a pail and shovel? Louis Schumer would put her there and say, Don't move or I'll kill you. No sooner would Louis turn his back and she would scamper off and he'd yell, Get down here. Bill Mooney disputed Harris's assessment of Debbie, countering, She was a great little professional animal. I worked with so many animals in my career, seals and raccoons and bears and dogs, and Debbie was great. And that was her real name. The only reason she was named Debbie in the show. And there was only one of her. It wasn't just like, well, Debbie's tired, let's get another one. It was just her. And then he said sadly, I never saw Lou Schumer beat Debbie, but I will say that in the era of television film in the late 50s and 60s, which I worked prolifically in, they typically did not treat the animals with as much respect and gentle hand as they should. Today, they wouldn't be allowed to treat them that way. Lou was okay, but he could have had a gentler hand. And let's see what else. There's a lot here about Debbie. Harris says, We had one scene where there was a violent storm, a rainstorm, and I had to hug Debbie. And I thought, she'll kill me. She hates it, all that rain. She'll get so nervous. So I went to the director and said, Do you have to do this scene? And he said, Are you serious? Go talk to Irwin. Of course we do. It's all Mr. Allen cares about, the flood, the earthquake, the rainstorm. I said, Doesn't he care about me? The director said, No. So,
and this is after Smith does that, he goes to the elevator. And he heads down, and we go into next week's episode, which is Smith is supposed to be out helping, and he says he is. This just is taking us into next week, and he's like, I'm looking up in the sky, and if I see something, I'll alert you. And he's basically just sleeping. And, Judy's like smirking with him, and he falls back asleep. And of course, out comes the robot, says he's sensing something behind the bushes. And Smith is like, oh, leave me alone. And all of a sudden, out comes this drone type of robot. And Smith sees it as it keeps getting closer and closer. And you see the fear come upon his face as it gets closer. And then see you next week. Same time, same channel for The Sky is Falling.
Kind of a weird looking robot there.
Yeah, it is. It looks like a crab. I think they called it a crab in the episode. Don't quote me on that, but I will check into my notes next week when I prepare for The Sky is Falling, which we're going to have a couple few guest aliens next week too, as well. And go through these credits.
Good news, because this time we only had a guest person in playing Debbie, Giant Debbie.
Yeah, we didn't have no guest alien, and we can.
This episode kind of bothers me because their problem is solved because it's rained, but they don't really do anything about the fact that they only have one power cell left. So if they get another drought, they're just gonna have this problem again.
Yeah. So let's go through the chat real quick and get caught up here, because I haven't had this much chat in so long. We usually we'll go back. Okay, this is where I left off right here. The Matt's paintings are amazing. I think the skill you needed to paint that by hand. Yeah, Pleasant Valley pick-a candidate. Irwin was a budget guy, so Ron Gross, the gentleman, Mr. Gross, that did his artwork, he was pretty talented individual. Captain Fidity Time Police says that was a joke. Gavin Blackburn says Kubrick faked the moon landings, but he insisted on the shooting on location. I don't believe the moon landings were faked. No way.
Neither do I.
We will go round and around on that one, folks. No, we did land on the moon, and there is incontrovertible proof. Period.
Yeah, we left something up there that you can see with your telescope that reflects light.
Lots of stuff was left up there. Nothing decomposes in space. So, anyways, most CGI looks mediocre at best. Well, nowadays they've gone CGI crazy, Pleasant Valley, and that's the problem. Practical special effects, I thought, were great in the original 3 Star Wars movies, the original trilogy. The practical of the Yoda alone, how they controlled him was amazing, stunning. And people thought it was going to be a joke, and it was beautiful. They relied too much on computers instead of the craft.
I think the CGI was done well in Lord of the Rings because they also use practical effects. I think if it's utilized properly, it can look good.
Oh, Gavin's joking. We did land on the moon, Gavin. I fight black flat earthers all the time around here in Florida because I live near the Space Center. I have to fight them all the time, so it's kind of a jokey thing. And Captain Infinity Time Police probably knows me longer than anybody in here, so he knows how I can be very temperamental at times. He's known me for about 6-7 years from another platform we all joke around on. So I digress. So I think I've got everybody. Miss Spot.
Yeah, no, I think somebody mentioned. I don't know where the chat is, but they mentioned that when you're that large, you could you could drill more easily, very quickly, hundreds of feet,
Yeah,
really
they could have had
fast.
him dig up the neutronium with his hands.
And
They
that's
wouldn't need the
actually the
drills.
very, very last thing in my notes. I said, I wonder if anyone thought about how much easier it would be to mine for resources if you're temporarily a large size. And if all you had to do is take a shower afterwards.
Yep. Would start a label our comments as the sarcastic. We should start a label our comments as the this is sarcastic fun. Well, science fiction can be sarcastic sometimes. There's a lot of things. Buzz Aldrin knocks moon landing deniers straight out. I think one of them punched out a guy. Was it Buzz Aldrin, the guy? Someone went up to him and called him, said it was fake, and he punched him. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that rumor. Anything, but before we call it a night, because it is wrestling night in my house tonight. After this, I will be calling it a night and hanging out with my better half as my wedding anniversary grows closer. 2 weeks away, and I will be celebrating my 11th year married, my 11th wedding anniversary. So I'm looking forward to that. And next week's episode, Jill, do you have anything going on this week? Tomorrow is the Twilight Zone. What
That's right.
episodes?
Oh, the episode's tomorrow. All I remember is that Burgess Meredith is on the next episode.
Well, you'll put them up so I can watch them tomorrow? Because wait, I'm not gonna. My wife's got another appointment tomorrow. I am so sorry.
No. Oh,
I gotta go to. I've got to go to Rockledge with her. I have to. It's important.
Of course you do. Of course.
I did not. I thought I was going to be able to do it, but I am unable to be there tomorrow. And this is like this is because she's getting ready to retire and they're doing all her physicals and all this stuff and getting it all out of the way. So this is like the last of the last coming up. So because I missed doing the Twilight Zone too, especially Burgess Meredith. I missed Jonathan Harris last week too, and episodes. And it's like you with your Star Trek connections. You know, you got your Star
exactly. I had Star Trek in this episode.
Exactly. We have our connection.
I got the.
That's why. Yeah, but what I'm saying is we got so much. Our shows so much are intertwined. Believe it or not, through the people and the, they over the years.
Is this a crossover episode? So the episodes for tomorrow are the Odyssey of Flight 33 and Mr. Dingle the Strong. And
I'll wait till you put it up, and I'm going to still follow you guys on my mobile while I'm out and about. So I will be there in presence.
All right. And so on Friday, we're also going to review Ex Machina with Retro Nerd Girl. So it's going to be a very special episode on Friday.
That's awesome. Is that it?
Yeah, that's all for this week. I may play a game or something sometime, but I'm not sure when.
I'm usually in bed sleeping when you're up doing that stuff. My time, and we get separated in time zones. People are up all night. I can't do it no more. I was burning the candle too thin at both ends. But that being said, I'm going to come up and stay tuned next week for The Sky is Falling, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time, Monday night. Live. Lost in Space. I want to thank everybody in my audience for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank you, Jill, for being here and doing the notes and preparing lines and all that you do. It wouldn't be possible without you, and it wouldn't be possible without all you guys that come in every week. Gavin Blackburn, Scotty, thank you for being in. Captain Fidity, Time Police, Pleasant Valley, Canada, Gavin Blackburn, David Glenn, Miss Sparkles, and if I missed DJ Ronnie G and Ed, Loki, Stone Cold Loki, and if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. And with that being said, I wish you a good evening. Stay lost in space. God bless. I love you, and good night.